Hey, how y'all doing? So today, somebody has a question, or somebody wanted me to elaborate on why I think, personally, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green are the best Pokemon games. I think they're the best Pokemon games. No nostalgia, I think they're the best Pokemon games. I'll elaborate more on it. Everybody in the chat, everybody say hi to YouTube. YouTube, hi over here from Twitch. If you're not following the Twitch channel, at least follow. It's free. You lose nothing. There is no stream schedule, so come through. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe, all that extra good shit. You know what to do. What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You just messed with the whole intro. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. All that extra good stuff. Come on, bro. Sign up to SacredAlmighty.com. It's free. And let's get into it. So today, like I said, let's get right into it, whatever. So obviously the question is, why do I think Fire Red and Leaf Green are the best Pokemon games? And let's get into it. I think when it comes to the essence of Pokemon, the monster catching genre, no gimmicks whatsoever, these games literally do everything you need and more. Now watch this. This right here, right, is the original 151, right? They're the most digestible, the most recognizable, the most nostalgic driven Pokemon. You know all of Gen 1. You know all of Gen 1, right? When it comes to their Pokemon. A lot of us grew up on the anime. The anime itself is really wishy-washy depending on what series you're watching. Who cares, right? But the original 151 is the most iconic set of Pokemon on the planet. You can have your favorites, that's fine. You can have your favorites, that's whatever. I'm not sitting here, no. But I think, objectively, these things are the best Pokemon games. 151, the most iconic Pokemon we have. The worst thing that anybody can say about these games is that there is no physical and special split. Because think about it like this, right? In the original Red and Blue, there was no physical special split. A lot of the moves were broken. A lot of the game was busted. There's a lot of glitches in Gen 1. There's a lot of things in Gen 1 that just doesn't work. And a lot of bugs that just makes the game damn near unplayable, right? But it's still a fun experience, right? Gen 2's gimmick is, oh, baby Pokemon. You know, I don't like Gen 2 personally. I think as a sequel, it's kind of trash up until the end where you battle Red and then I guess some of the Team Rocket stuff. But for the most part, you're pretty much just going through a straight hallway and that's it, right? Now, from Gen 3 forward, there is always a gimmick. There is always a gimmick, whether it's Mega Evolutions, physical special splits, more evolutions, Dynamax, Gigantamax. In 4th Gen, it was the trading stuff. There's always a gimmick when it comes to Pokemon. Every game, Gen 3 and beyond, there is a gimmick to it, right? You could say Gen 2 has a gimmick, but it's really just breeding and night and day. You know, I don't think that's like a big thing. I don't think that's a humongous thing, but cool. If that's what you want to argue, that's whatever. But Gen 1 is the most basic, flat idea of what Pokemon is. Pokemon is a monster catching or a monster taming RPG. It's a turn-based RPG. It has a plethora of mons that you can I guess you can catch from. You can just choose whatever you want. Boom, 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 boom. And just make whatever team. Any team that you want to make in Gen 1 can be good. That's the luxury of Pokemon. Is just a monster hunting or monster taming genre and like all together, right? Because literally, you can, or the luxury of Pokemon, because in some like Shin Megami Tensei, there are just overall better monsters that you can use. But in Pokemon, you know, Pokemon stats didn't really matter that much up until I want to say like Gen 3. Because Gen 1 was busted for the most part. Gen 1 was just broken. Gen 2 is just an extension of Gen 1, so who cares about it, right? But Gen 3 is like when all that stuff comes together and there you have it. But I think when you want to play Pokemon, so watch this, let me show you. A lot of people don't dislike these games. They dislike Kanto because of how much it's been given to us. They've pandered so much to Kanto through Pokemon Go, through X and Y when we got into the 3D generation, through a good majority of the next gen Pokemon games, like what, Sun and Moon for the most part. And they've even got Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. People don't like Kanto because they keep bringing it up. But that doesn't make Kanto bad as a region. It doesn't make Kanto bad at all. Just because you're tired of it does not make Kanto bad. Is it basic? Sure. Is it overrated? No. No, because those games still are one of the best selling of the Pokemon franchise. You know, I don't think it's overrated at all. Is it irritating to see? Yes, that is true. A lot of us have played through all the Pokemon generations, so of course we're tired of seeing Kanto. We're tired of seeing the nods to Kanto. We're tired of seeing all the Kanto starters get like little forms and stuff like that. But you gotta think, right? As somebody who has probably never played Pokemon, I think Gen 1 is the best one to go to. And not just any Gen 1, the remakes of Gen 1, which you could say Gen 3, right? Because that's just how that generation goes. Fire Red, Leaf Green are Gen 3 games, so of course they're part of Gen 3. But I think these games are the best Pokemon games because ideally you can give these to anybody and they will like them. You can. You literally can. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Ready for it? Everybody here has played through Fire Red and Leaf Green a plethora of times with no speed up button, with no cheat codes, no rare candy codes, no walk through walls, none of that. A lot of the people that are grown ass adults that were playing Pokemon when they were kids were playing these two games a gazillion amount of times. That's just the truth. If you haven't played them a million amount of times, that's fine. But for a good majority of us, we know how to play these games, whether it's Red and Blue or whether it's these games. But these games are the best ways to play Kanto. It's just facts. You could say, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. It's okay. It's an appealing game. It's an enjoyable game. It's a fun game. But I think when it comes to Pokemon as a genre or as a franchise, I think these games just do it better. You know, everybody likes to talk about, you know, Mega Evolutions and stuff like that, but Mega Evolution is a gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick to not add Pokemon to the overall Pokédex. Why make more Pokemon when we can just give the pre-existing Pokemon new forms? Why add new Pokemon when we can make the pre-existing Pokemon have new forms through the battle mechanic, like Gigantamaxing, like Dynamaxing? Why make new Pokemon when we can make region variants? See what I'm saying? And a lot of complaints from most recent fans, or most fans in general recently, have all been something about the gimmicks not being what they want them to be, something about the Pokédex not being as big, Game Freak being lazy due to animations, Game Freak doing this, that, and the third. And some would argue the Pixel generation is the best generation of Pokemon. I don't know. Would I agree with them? I don't know. It would be interesting to see how Pokemon would look in a, let's say, Octopath Traveler aesthetic, because that's a pixel game and that's one of the best RPGs on the Switch right now, personally, you know? So, no gimmicks, a complete adventure. Think about it like this, right? There is no huge story in this game. There's no annoying characters. There's no weird villain dynamic or inconsistencies with the villains. There's no lack of Pokédex. There's just Pokemon. These are all just regular Pokemon that we know and love. You can play this game millions of times and have an amazing journey because of the original 151. You can go in, get you a Magnemite. You can go in, get you a Nidoran, Nidoqueen. You can go in, get a star. You can go search for a Staryu, a Krabby. You can go get a Horsey and get a Seadra. You can do whatever you want, and you can still beat the game. There is no like stat crazy thing. There's nothing of that, right? These are the most bland Pokemon games, but that's a good thing because they're the most accessible Pokemon games, because you can give this to anybody and they would play it. Brendan, my little brother Brendan, right? My little brother Brendan, I bought him Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I bought him Pokemon Sword. He has played my Sun and Moon. He's played my Ultra Moon. He's played my X and Y. I have Black 2 and White over there. He's played all of them. And I promise you, he's had more fun playing these two games. You might be thinking, Nick, you don't even have these two games. Over here, when I went to Anime Week in Atlanta, I bought a custom colored, custom coated, custom painted Game Boy. I have all of the Japanese Game Boy Color games, and I have Fire and Leaf Green sealed over here. Literally, Brendan has not touched Pokemon Sword. I bought him the Sword with the expansion pack. I bought him the whole thing. He has not touched Pokemon Sword and Shield. And I asked him, yo, Brendan, why? It's just not the older games. What you mean by that? So one time I caught Brendan watching one of my videos, right? He has this humongous fixation on the fire red aesthetic, the top down pixel view. You know what I'm saying? He likes that. And I'm like, maybe this is just a Brendan thing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's just a Brendan thing. Who knows, right? I have cousins that literally ask their parents to play these games to this day. Sword and Shield are good games to get the kids into, but once they go back, it's like, damn, these new games are kind of shit ass. So when we talk about like, okay, what makes a good Pokemon game, right? Not a game that you as a 25 and up year old like, because we all know you want story. You want I don't know what the fuck y'all want. Y'all are difficult. Funny enough, y'all want difficulty. Y'all want difficulty. Y'all want story. Y'all want engrossing characters. Y'all want all this extra shit that Pokemon tries to do. We just don't like it as mature Pokemon fans, right? But take all that shit away. Take all that stuff away. Take all that away, right? And the best Pokemon games are these two games, and maybe Pokemon Emerald, because Pokemon Emerald is the best way to play Ruby and Sapphire. Maybe Pokemon Emerald, right? Maybe Pokemon Emerald. So so in Gen 3, right? So in Gen 3, so it's Fire Red, Leaf Green, Pokemon Emerald. If you take away all the story shit, all the really subjective, opinionated things that we as fans, we're fickle. We want, as we get older, our palette changes, right? We want story. We want characters that we can attach to. I know some people that like to project themselves on the characters. I know some people that like certain things from the newer games. But that's about it. But the vocal, I don't know if you call it the vocal minority of people, the internet, basically. The internet, right? The internet is all complaints about noob age Pokemon. And it's so weird to hear people say, oh, Pokemon games have gotten easier when the games were never hard. They weren't hard. All you did was press A. So if we're gonna press A, why not play these games? Now, like I said, some people will refute my claims and stuff about these games being the best games, because they're tired of Kanto. But I'm sorry to say this, you being tired of Kanto does not make Kanto bad, does not make Kanto worse. You're just tired of Kanto, and that's fine. That's fine. But I'd much rather play this game, these two games, than any Johto game, because Johto's terrible, than any other Gen 3 game that's not Emerald and or the Coliseum and XD games. I'd much rather play these games over Diamond and Pearl. I love Platinum, but Platinum is still slow. And you could say, oh, but Platinum makes it faster. It's like 8 to 10 seconds. It's not that big of a deal. Half of y'all are speeding up through emulators anyway. See what I'm saying? So like, and then I guess now that I'm older, right? I can go back to Black and White because I love Black and White. Black and White is amazing. Black and White is a slept-on Pokemon game, like generation, and we'll get to that whenever we get to that. There's a whole lot of things people like slander Black and White for that I don't understand it personally, but we'll get to that whenever. I'd much rather play these games over Sun and Moon, especially Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I'd much rather play these games over Sword and Shield. I'm telling you, look, from somebody who is a disgruntled Pokemon fan, I can see where you would argue these games not being good or the best Pokemon games, right? Because at this point, you're tired of Kanto. At this point, you're tired of the Kanto pandering. At this point, you're tired of Pokemon damn near. You're tired of playing the damn games. The ROM hacks are centered around these games in the first place, right? Cool. But just because you're tired and you're burnt out does not make these games any more better. Like, think about this, right? You play through the original Kanto, there's a good extra couple of hours of after game to do. Think about it. There are literally, right? The first, you could slander Red and Blue all you want, but these two games, right? If you were around for that time period, you were able to get all the Gen 3 legendary Pokemon. You were able to get 4 additional islands that you never even knew about until you got to the game. Everything from the original Kanto is brought up to new lives and Come on, bruh. Come on, bro. These games were literally an enigma. Literally. You had to be there. You had to go out. Listen, I'm telling you, if you remember, back when the Game Shark was around and the link cable was a thing, these games could not be touched. Literally. You can get every single Gen 3 legendary. There was so, you could not touch these games. And here we are now in 2021, and people don't like Sword and Shield. People are going back and realizing how good Black and White was when they hated it on release. People are going back and realizing how good at the attempt of a plot that Sun and Moon are. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is my thing, right? These are all like nitpicks and stuff like that, but I think as a Pokemon adventure, right, that captures like the essence of a monster taming RPG, I don't think there's anything better than this. There's little to no story, which is a good thing, right? Which is a good thing. Think about it. It's a good thing that there's little to no story, because give me one bad thing about these games. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one bad thing about these games. The chat is silent. The chat is silent. The chat is silent. And there goes my answer. The chat is silent. The fact that none of y'all could give me anything bad, and we have literally over 100 something people up in this chat, tells me a lot. But watch this, but watch this, but watch this. What's something bad about Gen 2? Oh, the game is really fast paced. The level scaling is terrible. All the good Pokemon are literally available at the end when you beat the game in the first place. You can't even get the good mons in the game half the time. Okay, what's bad about Gen 3? Or what's bad about Ruby and Sapphire? There's a lot of things that people didn't like about Ruby and Sapphire that got fixed in Emerald. They got fixed in Emerald. People didn't like the oh, the night and day is gone. People didn't like the non-moving sprites, which they did in Emerald. People didn't like some of the mons. People didn't like some of the towns. People didn't like none of that stuff. Okay, Gen 4. Gen 4 is slow. There's no fire types. This is a weird complaint because you don't need fire types in Gen 4. Whatever. The what's the word? What was another Gen 4 complaint? What was another Gen 4 complaint? What were y'all saying about Gen 4? It's slow, no fire types. It's nothing but a cast with nothing but a big mountain, which doesn't make any sense because lore-wise, Mount Coronet is the biggest mountain in all of the Pokemon world. It's actually where the Pokemon world started. That's canon, by the way, multiple times. It loops too much, I guess, which is a complaint. People didn't like it. You see what I'm saying? People didn't like it. Sure. Gen 5. People did not like Gen 5 because of the lack of other Pokemon in Gen 5. Like I said, people are just now... Pablo with the upgrade. Thank you, bro. What the hell? Thank you. Thank you, dog. Thank you. Thank you, dog. Slow animations for Diamond and Pearl, cool. Gen 5, like I said, Gen 5, people are just now starting to see how good Gen 5 is, right? People didn't like Gen 5 because there was no Pokemon that we all knew about until the after game, right? People loved N but hated Bianca and Sharon, which is weird to me because Bianca has an amazing character arc. Whatever. Bianca's a better hop. I'ma say it. I'ma say it, but cool. People love N. What else did people not like about Gen 5, dude? I don't remember, but they're starting to turn around on that. Everything that people have complained about Gen 5, they're starting to take back now. Okay, Gen 6. Ooh, now Gen 6. There's a lot about Gen 6. I hated how much it was story focused, but then guess what? We want story in Pokemon now. Come on, dog. What are we doing here, right? Gen 5 or Gen 6. There was no after game. Hella laggy. There was no third version. Half of Lumio City, the biggest city in the main attraction for the damn game, was half of it was dead ass. You couldn't go in. The lack of development on their legendary Pokemon. For those who don't know, Hoopa and Volcanion are Gen 6 Pokemon. They got leaked early, and there was nothing done with them until Gen 7, which is really annoying. The rival cast is very annoying in Gen 6. There were no memorable characters minus like the villains. People love Mova. I don't know how you say her name. I don't know how you say their names, whatever. People love them. Malva, yeah, people love Malva. There's a lot of characters that people feel like weren't. Yo, thank you, Hook. Thank you, Hook. There's a lot of characters that people weren't attached to, so forgettable. They were forgettable games. Were they fun in the moment? Yes. Forgettable? Yes. They were cool. A lot of irrelevant characters. The Mega Evolution is the best gimmick and the best attraction to X and Y. That's about it. That's really it. That's really it. Gen 7, I will never forgive y'all for Gen 7 slander. I will never forgive the audacity that people had towards Gen 7. Cause everybody and their mom were excited for Sun and Moon. Now, I will say, the starting island being 2 to 3 hours as a tutorial, I don't think is a valid complaint. Because if you play RPGs, you know tutorial sections for the games are way longer than 2 to 3 hours. They're way longer than 2 to 3 hours. But a big complaint on Gen 7 was the weird pacing, which is kind of weird to me because the moment you get off, somebody do me a favor and go replay through Sun and Moon again. Play through Sun and Moon again. Watch this. The very moment you get off the first island, you were zooming the second one. You were zooming the third. All the story stuff happens. You're zooming the fourth. That's how that worked. And I played those games multiple times. You're damn near zooming through the game. Literally. You're zooming. People didn't like Z moves. That's fine. People didn't like Z moves. Cool. But the characters were great. People loved Guzma. People loved Plumeria or whatever her name is. Lusamine is the best villain. Lusamine is the best villain. You know, like when Ocean Ultra Moon came out, people were mad about those. I'm mad because it's literally the exact same game, just with the last like 3 hours being changed. And Hal becomes more of a dickhead near the end, but that's about it. That's really it. You get the starters early. That's it. Gen 7 is not bad. Gen 7 is not. Ooh, I hate people. Now Gen 8. People had problems with Gen 8 before the games even came out. There's a lot of things that people have wrong with Gen 7. I could go down the list. But that right there, the problem with that is what we just did was we went through all the generations after Gen 1, and we always talked about the problems with those games. There have been enhancements in those games as well, but a lot of people remember the bad before they remember the good. That's facts, right? So now that we watch this, ready for it? Watch this. And this is why these games are better. Watch this, right? You ready for it? Now that we went through all of the games and we basically talked about what makes them flawed games or makes them like questionable games, bad games to some. Oh, I didn't like so and so and so and so. Give me one bad thing about Fire Red Leaf Green. Fire Red Leaf Green had no post game besides Sevi Islands and Gen 3 Mons. The Sevi Islands was the post game. These games are the best Pokemon games. You may not like them because, oh, they're Kanto, yada, yada, yada. But, I mean, there you go. Goodbye. Leave a like and a comment.